What's up, guys? I'm Alex Izraoui.
And I'm Joseph Buzzsaw Grobani.
You're about to see a 2-hour-long podcast, unfiltered, uncut, that we shot today.
That's right. First time, really, for both of us ever doing such a thing, but we touch on subjects of fighting, personal experiences both here and back home in Thailand that have helped us move further towards our goals. And what else?
It's 2 hours, live and uncut, freestyle, kind of like this introduction, but here it is. Hope you guys enjoy.
Thanks, y'all. Check it out.
All right, dude, let's just maybe start with your most recent fight.
My most recent fight. All right. That was my fourth time being in Koh Samui at Pechmancha. And against Petnium, who's an active duty military guy, and he had previously fought on Thai Fight and LWC, so I knew his game, as they all are, but it was good. Went down with my main trainer, Tom from Jiao Pa Hin, and yeah, got the broken hand, but also got the victory, so.
You got the broken hand on the second metacarpal, which is literally where I broke my hand as well, 2 times.
Same exact injury.
Almost, because yours is at the, I think, like closer to the knuckle, right?
Closer to the knuckle. Closed fracture of the second metacarpal on the knuckle, but nothing displaced. So as long as I keep it immobilized and don't punch anything or bang it on nothing, and no surgery, just keep it like this for a little while.
That's the biggest thing for me is, like, as soon as it started healing a little bit, mine was a little bit lower, like closer to here, and now it has a little bump. But as soon as it healed a little bit, I got overconfident and started punching with it again. Yeah. And then during training, it would hurt a little bit, and I knew I kind of fucked it up again.
At this point, it's probably stronger than it was from the...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, if you look at the x-ray now, you got the straight bone, but then you have this little lump in between. If anything, this will help you punch harder in the future.
Yeah. I hope not only that it's stronger, but I have the confidence to use it. I'll probably be doing a lot more of this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But which is signature buzzsaw, right?
Has grown to be.
Right tomahawk elbow and ass knees.
Yes. I'm going to trademark that soon.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Matt. Yeah. So you've implemented a couple in your most recent fights, a couple ass knees.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, taking the back is something I learned from you. And I try to really hold on to it for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Even if the announcer, like in one of my most recent fights, the announcer was like, break. But if the fucking referee doesn't touch the announcer, I'm not
Dilatate the action.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not letting go until the referee says so.
Yeah. Shows dominance for sure.
Exactly.
Shows dominance.
Exactly. But I never did do an elbow to the back of the head like you did, which was one of the sickest moments I've ever witnessed from you. Your fight against OPEC
from Luknong Sang.
Yeah.
Luknong Song. Rajadamnern. It's really special having both you and Krupet there for that one. It's an awesome time, man.
There was tears in Krupet's eyes when you won by knockout. And it wasn't tears of joy, the classical. It was just this intensity that he had brought tears to his eyes. And I remember we looked at each other and he like smiled with these tears in him. It was nuts because when did you win in the second
round? Second round knockout. First round was not going my way.
Yeah, exactly.
He was definitely giving me the what for. And I wasn't implementing my game as much in that fight. I was trying to play the outside game with him and kick and do a little more femur, things that Krupet and I were practicing in the gym. But I realized after that first round, it wasn't going to, if I wanted the victory, it wasn't going to cut it. He would have gone to win on points if I hadn't started.
I remember one of the craziest moments there was in between the first and second round. I get in the ring, so start pouring ice water on you and massaging you. And I was massaging your shoulder, and your shoulder just started tensing all of a sudden. And I could see it in your face as well. Like, you knew you lost that round.
Oh, yeah. No illusion there.
Yeah, definitely. And you were just like, I got to fucking pull it together. There was something going, like, what was going on through your mind between the first and the second round?
Oh, a sense of urgency, but also being conscious of that and not allowing it to overwhelm me and put me in a panic state, trying to keep it all together, keep composed, and think clearly about what I need to do to, get ahead again. Because it's easy when you're getting your ass kicked to sort of succumb to all that pressure, and not only the pressure that your opponent's putting on you, but your corner's telling you need to do this, you need to do this, and it's a bit when you tried in the first round to implement some techniques and they weren't working. You gotta switch it up, and it can be daunting, so.
Yeah, I remember some of the advice that crew Pet was giving me in my fight against Thomas and Ansa, which was basically just kick.
Yes, that was what you were having the most success with.
Yeah. He had no answer. He wasn't blocking anything. He was just eating every single shot. And what was I feel like Crew Pet doesn't necessarily go into a whole lot of detail when he's giving advice, right? Like based off of all the conversations that you had in fight with Crew Pet, what was it that he kind of stuck out with you?
Well, that's stuck with me, and what I think I remember the most. He just elbow. I mean, that's all I really worked with him. We did kicks, punches, all of that, but what him and I really focused on together while we were training was where and when to implement the elbows, man. And I've just kept it in the forefront of my mind. Wherever I see an opportunity, I want to let one fly. So in between, whether it was my fight at Anza or at Raja Damnern, forward, elbow, elbow.
So you mentioned Ansa, you mentioned Raja Damnern. What about Thai fight? Like, out of all three, I don't even know what the fuck I'm asking you, honestly, but out of, like, maybe talk to me a little bit more about your experience fighting Sayok and then fighting Nong O, and then where the elbow falls into those scenarios.
Well, always know I wanted to be Muay Sok. I wanted to be an elbow fighter. There was a gap or a bridge that I had to cross of having the desire to be one, and then learning the techniques and having the confidence to use the techniques in the fight when it's appropriate and when you're actually going to have success from it. And a lot of trial and error, man, throwing one, missing one, getting hit, getting punished for it. But the difference, I guess, when I fought Sayok for my first time on Thai fight, it was Karchuk. So I knew Sayok was himself an elbow specialist, and just has a long highlight reel of stretching people out of the ring. So I was I was scared, dude. I was straight up scared. Like it was something that I committed myself to doing, but it was one of the more daunting things I'd ever taken on. And
you took it on like 1 week notice too.
Yeah, when I started at Jiao Hin, I had 3 days of training. Crew Tom asked me what my goals were. I told him. He asked me so you want Thai fight? I said, yeah, Thai fight. Very next day, he said, okay, you fight Sayok next weekend.
What went through your mind when they offered you that so fast?
I said yes without hesitation in the moment. And then I remember I went back home, let it settle a little more, and then all the nerves kicked in. But it's important for me to not only, if I commit to doing something, I want to do it. It's not that it's something I told him I would do, so I wanted to do it for him. But for myself, accepting the challenges and taking the hard fights. That's what it's all about. And it's a wonderful opportunity for me to expose myself to an environment and a style of fighting that was brand new to me, and test my mettle against a dude who is a legend. So
It's a style that, so you said you wanted to be a Muay Sok all along, but having started in the US where you're wearing elbow pads, and you even mentioned that Coach Matt told you that he doesn't want, correct me if I'm wrong, that he doesn't want you to not wear elbow pads because if you get cut, you have hospital bills in the US.
yeah, man, you're not getting paid as an amateur, back there. So, I mean, the risk to reward, yeah, you get a cool, you get a cool photo of you in the ring, without any gear on. But like you said, if you get sliced up, that bill is on you. Promotion is not they're certainly not stitching you up at the venue like they do here, and they're not paying your hospital note. So, contrary to what some people may think, still hurts getting cracked with an elbow pad, and you can still get cut for sure. But with the pads, it allows you an opportunity to get the experience, and maybe, I don't know, depending on who you are, maybe have a little bit more of a willingness to get in there and throw them and exchange them, because in the back of your mind, you might know, like, okay, if I do get hit with one, I'm not likely to get cut. Because as you know, if I'm close enough to elbow you, you can elbow me.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind when talk about elbow pads is, for me personally, it's Saenchai versus Damian Alamos,
Yeah.
and those are some legends in the game. But here they are fighting with fucking elbow pads because in France it's the law. You have to wear elbow pads no matter what, which is quite strange when you think of Saenchai wearing
Right. I mean,
amateur gear.
some of the biggest, like IFMA,
Mhm.
how many legends go to IFMA to compete? You compete with full gear.
Mhm.
Now, it is granted a tournament style format, so you're going to be more than likely competing more than once throughout a weekend or a week. But yeah, the idea of somebody with 350 fights, getting in there with protective gears. Yeah.
Speaking of protective gear, another story I want to bring up that you told me is the tournaments that you fought in where you were wearing protective gear, but you had some kind of injury in your rib.
Yeah.
And so from what I recall, you went to the doctor and he told you you had pain in your rib, and they injected you with something that would remove the pain so that you could still fight anyway. But you had a broken rib, or like
It was my second, I was preparing for my second amateur fight back home. And yeah, I had an incident in the gym where I ended up breaking my 4th, 5th, and 6th rib on my left side, so high up here. And went to the doctor, got the x-ray. Yeah, confirmed, like, you have 3 broken ribs. I I called Coach Matt, got in my car, sitting in the parking lot, called Coach Matt and told him what was going on. And told him, I was like, I still want to fight. He was like, it's up to you. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so contacted a pain interventionist and drove to his office, set up the appointment, went to his office. And I was just flat out with him. I told him, like, this is what I got going on. I got 3 broken ribs. I got to fight in a week and a half. And I want to fight. And he was cool, man. He was like, all right, let's do it. So they went in and yeah, shot, I guess it's some sort of analgesic, that numbs the nerve for a couple weeks, and then it tapers off. And he told me flat out, he's like, it'll give you enough time to do the fight, but it is going to wear off, and you're going to have to heal after the numbing agent is gone. So I had that fight, won. I think that one was 3rd round TKO, and that was in July. And then there was a tournament, WKA national tournament. That was at the end of August. So I gave my ribs a a few weeks to heal, and then entered the tournament with partially healed ribs. And yeah, had 6 fights in 2 days, 4 on the first day, 2 on the last day. Broke the ribs again. Fractured one of the metatarsals in my left foot, broke my toe, sprained a hamstring. Yeah, so
But obviously fucking worth it.
yeah, 6 fights, 5 knockouts, a lot of experience in a really short amount of time. Took me about 2 months. I think I was laid up after all that to recover. But it really, not only did I feel as though it propelled me even further with the experience, the IQ, all of that, but it opened up opportunities and doors for me and my gym, particularly on Freedom Fighter promotion. The owner of Freedom Fighter was there and saw one of my fights and offered me and Kogan a fight on their card strictly from him seeing a performance that I had during the tournament. And now fast forward, 3 years, 4 years almost. 2 of my teammates are now amateur champions on Freedom Fighter. So something I'm very, very happy about. Yeah. Your amateur experience before you came here was not extensive, but tell us about your first fight and why you chose to accept, a Muay Thai fight or a kickboxing fight or whatever it may have been at the time.
So it's funny, my amateur experience came after my first ever pro fights. I guess from a Western perspective, what I do is pro fights because there's not protective gear and I'm being paid, but I've never done a check weight fight. So depending on who you ask, there's a lot of people in Thailand that'll tell you that's not professional fighting if you're not cutting weight for it. Yeah, you're getting paid, but it doesn't really count.
It's interesting because some people consider the weigh-ins as, okay, that's the criteria you need to be considered a professional fight, a professional bout weigh-in. And other people think if you're getting a monetary compensation, then you're a professional. So depends on who you ask.
And then people even take it even further because some will tell you that you can cut weight, but if you're fighting in some small promotion, even if it's televised, it's not professional until you are in the big leagues, something like RWS, one championship. And it's funny, that's a conversation I had with someone back home, a champion in the local scene in Montreal, Nick Leboeuf, and he said, yeah, he's the one who told me it's only one championship or RWS that's considered to be professional. Everything else isn't. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I guess within that standard, though, Thai fight would fall within that category. But to answer your question, I did, my first ever fight was pro rules in Phuket in Patong Fighting Stadium. That was my first ever fight that I did after only 3 months of training experience. Obviously I trained
in the deep end, man.
Yeah, dude. I obviously did a little bit of casual training in Montreal, at Mizu Studio, which isn't even a Muay Thai gym. It's a fucking jiu-jitsu gym.
Nice.
And they had 2 Muay Thai classes a week. So I did that for a little bit with my coach and now a good friend, David. And in that same building where they had Mizu Studio, I was working for this robotics and automation company. It was just a corporate job. And I fucking hated it, dude. And everybody there hated their lives, but kept doing it anyway and kind of pretending that they were happy when they weren't, sacrificing their own individual well-being for the shareholders and the company. It was just like
Getting a paycheck.
Exactly. But people were just like faking it, right? And I ended up getting fired from that job. And at the time I freaked out a little bit because it removed a bunch of security, like financial security for me. But looking back at it, it was one of the best things that fucking happened to me because it's what gave me the opportunity to actually try Muay Thai for real in Thailand. And that's what led me to do my first ever fights. So maybe to circle back to your question, my amateur experience only came after I did that fight in Phuket.
Yeah, going back to Canada.
Yes. And actually, those fights were exhibition fights. They weren't even
Sanctioned bouts.
They weren't even sanctioned bouts.
So I mean, smoking could turn into a fight real quick.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess those fights were okay. They helped my confidence a little bit, but they most certainly were not pivotal parts of what I consider my career. Again, we have different definitions for pro, not pro career. What we'll call my career is so when somebody asks me how many fights do I have, I'll say 10, not 12, because I have the 2 exhibition fights, but I don't count those because I don't think they had that big of an impact on, my character, and minor impact on my character and my development as a fighter and as a person overall.
I'm curious, with your fight at Patong Stadium, were you approached by your trainer to fight? Yeah.
No.
No, you asked to fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, initially I did a 1-month round trip to Phuket, and I was supposed to go back to Canada and then go job hunting again because I needed that security, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, my first 2 straight weeks, even though I had a lot of relief, I was going through a lot of chronic stress at that job, and I was brainwashed to think that I needed a job like that, otherwise I would fail or I would be in trouble.
Yeah.
I felt scared of not having that security. But it slowly went away the more time went on in Thailand in that first month. And I quickly realized that like I gotta do more than 1 month and I gotta do a fight.
Yep.
And so I guess you could say that my real training only started in the 2nd and the 3rd month. And because I was such a beginner with no experience, I was asking for fights, but they're like, no, we're not
Time yet.
Not time yet. And this is at the time it was called Sing Patong Sipnam Noi. Since then they've rebranded and moved to a new gym. It's now just Petnam Noi. And I was asking Kru Dang for fights, and he was just like, no. And I was, what's insane, man, is I was doing the morning session and the afternoon session every single day. But on top of that, I was doing privates with Kru Dang 2 to 3 times a week as well. So saying that I was overtraining is
a wild understatement.
A wild fucking understatement. And I don't know how I did it, because often I would throw up in between the private session, which was at 1 p.m., and the evening session. And I would still just keep going through it. I think I just became fucking obsessed.
Yeah.
I found a lot of meaning just through the training alone. The first fights completely changed my perspective, completely changed my life. But just the training alone, I became addicted.
I think it's awesome that they initially denied you the opportunity, because it is common, you might just be a number to them, or, you ask for a fight. Yeah, we'll get you a fight, put you in there, and, might not go your way, you might get hurt, but to them, they might not care, so the fact that they actually had your best interest in mind is nice to hear.
When I spoke with Kru Dang after, he told me that he was very angry with the promoter because I wasn't supposed to fight the guy that I fought.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I obviously have no regret whatsoever. Actually, the way I did it was, so I asked for the fights over and over again, and they kept denying me. And then I went to PP Island, where they have this like tourist bar, and you can just box somebody in the crowd. And I ended up boxing this like a 95 kg rugby player from England.
Nice.
And just, I won. It's not even a fight, right? But I won.
Got in there and did it.
I got in there and did it, and I had a video of it, and I showed it to Kru Dang, and that's when he was just like, all right, we can give you a fight.
So when you said that you had a last minute opponent change for the Patong Stadium fight. Now, once they told you had a fight, what was your feeling? once it was confirmed, how did you feel?
I don't even think to be frank, I don't entirely remember. This was 3 years ago, but I remember that it was not the same feeling as what I feel in the more recent months when I know I have a fight confirmed. It was on, I think, maybe 10 days notice. I think I was more relaxed
Yeah,
than now.
maybe because now you actually know what it entails.
Yes.
You know?
And I now I don't overtrain.
Yeah.
Whereas at the time I was so overtrained that I don't think I could have been more stressed. I guess the moment where I did panic was at the stadium when they changed when I knew it was a different opponent. 'Cause you see the fight card and I saw my opponent's gym name, so I looked up the gym name and I saw him training. I was just like, all right, this guy is more or less more experienced than me, clearly, more than 3 months, but lower level fighter. But then we get to the stadium and we see the guy's name and it says Erawan, Thailand. And my friend Samuel, no offense to Samuel because I'm doing the quotation marks, but that wasn't very good of him to do. He was just like, I know your opponent. He's the guy who beat Hakeem, who was our European champion.
The shit you want to hear, you know.
It's not. And I'm over there getting my hands wrapped and the massage and everything, and I feel the need to express verbally to the people around me that I'm terrified and I don't know what to do. And I felt it was a moment where nobody could save me. Nobody could help me but myself. And perhaps that was one of the big pivotal moments of my life, is when I realized that, hey, you have to take this situation in your own hands and it's up to you. And I even remember asking myself, if, even though I had my gloves laced up, if Crew Dang were to be like, Alex, we can cancel the fights because your opponent is too experienced, would you take that? And my answer was absolutely fucking not. I didn't come all the way to Thailand, extend my trip from 1 month to 3 months, throw up in between the trainings, do 3 privates a week, in addition to the 2 a day, just for me to back out at this point. There's no fucking way. So I went through with the fights and it changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
Well, good.
For the better, yeah.
Of course. I mean, like, since that fight, I knew that I wanted to move to Thailand full time, and now that's what I've done. I went back home, saved a little bit of money, and I'm in here for a year and a half now. What's your life been like living here and basically, because we talked about what's considered professional and not professional. We'll say for me, I'm not fighting at a professional level, but for you, you're a sponsored fighter. You fight at the highest caliber. You're fighting on Thai Fight. You fight legends in the game, Nong O, Sayok. What has been what has that experience been like for you?
Since I got here, I mean, I told myself I would accept the opportunities as they came. You know, there's a level of self-advocation. You know, it was something that a good buddy of mine, Joseph from back home, expressed to me before I came out here. Is like, you need to self-advocate for yourself. If it doesn't feel right, you know, like you need to look out for you. And you know, that might mean saying no to a matchup, you know, if it looks like you're just going to go in there and you know, getting sent out to pasture pretty much. But you know, with the Sayok fight, that was one of them almost. It was, I mean, he has so much more experience. Granted, he's 41 now. You know, I'm 31. But he's definitely at the end, you know, at the end of his career. Certainly not in his prime anymore. But even Crew Pets, I expressed that to Crew Pet, and Crew Pet said, still very dangerous. It certainly is, you know. A 41-year-old Sayok is still a very dangerous man. But yeah, that was the one that I had so much internal conflict about. Like, should I say yes? Should I back out? Like, what do I do? What do I do? Am I gonna get like, am I gonna get maimed from this? Is this gonna put me so far back in terms of injuries that like I'm gonna have to start from scratch with my Muay Thai? But I realized it's I had just gotten to a new gym. I had my 3 fights in Hue Hin. So it's like I had climbed the ladder the way I intended and the way I had hoped since I arrived here. Do the local shows, get the experience, get comfortable. Okay, go to Rajadamnern and Knockout Series. So still entry-level promotion, but the next rung on the ladder. Okay, had success, 2 fights, 2 wins on the Knockout Series at Rajadamnern. Okay, next rung, Thai fight against Sayo. So it was a big step up in not only competition but just in brand new promotion, brand new everything.
So I think what happened there is you shocked the Muay Thai world, right? Because before the Sayok fight, you had never been on televised Muay Thai before.
Yeah, no, never. The Rajadamnern Knockout Series is not televised. Yeah, no, nothing.
And
other than just live streams on the internet. But
and then you add on top of that Thai fight is known as a promotion where foreigners get fucked up by Thais.
Yeah, they want to see foreigners get knocked out. That's what they want. And there were there were 2 people, I think, in that entire venue who thought I could win that fight. I think it was me and my coach, and he told me, Tom said, 50-50 you win. I was like, those are actually better odds than I was giving myself. But, I trusted him, almost off the jump since I met him. I could tell this, something about this man. I trust him, and I wanted to do something to not only prove to myself that I have it, but prove to him that like, yeah, you can also trust me, So I did it, 3 rounds. I ended up getting the victory.
You almost ended it in the second, I believe, too, until the ref saved him.
Almost, yeah. They gave him an 8 count, which I can't even recall another moment during a Thai fight that I'd seen a referee give somebody an 8 count. Normally, yeah, they let it go until you're on the canvas. So they gave him the 8 count, and then immediately after the 8 count, they sent me to the opposite neutral corner so that the doctor could check him out because I'd cut him in the first round with an elbow. So that was another maybe 30, 35 seconds, that both of us were getting a breather. And then I knew I had won the fight. I cut him in the first round, gave him the 8 count in the second round. So going into the third, it's just like I just have to not get knocked out and I've won. There's no way they're not going to give me the decision at this point. So
you mentioned that there was 2 people in that stadium that knew you were going to win, which is you and Crew Tom. And even though I was in Canada getting some shit done in my personal life before coming back to Thailand, I watched the fight live, and I tried to bet on you.
Yeah.
Because even though I wasn't in the stadium, I knew you were going to win that fight as well. And what I'm going with here is you're extremely humble, Joseph. Yeah. You're far too humble, right? But you fight on Thai Fight. You even mentioned this morning that they want you to fight at 69 kgs.
Yeah, go down a little bit.
Sanchai fights at 69 kgs. I think you can beat him. I think you will beat him, actually.
I appreciate that.
It's not Joseph, it's not a compliment. Okay, I'm not just saying that. And I didn't say I don't think it's the first time I've said this to you. I'm not just clearly not saying it because we're doing a fucking podcast. I'm saying or to make you feel good about yourself. I'm saying this because I think you can fucking beat him.
It would be an absolute honor to share the ring with him, and regardless of what happens, I know it would only make me a better fighter, in the long run. And I would do everything in my power to just make sure that he remembered me, regardless. Yeah. The whole reason we're going, we made the decision to go down in weight is because my last fight was against Nongo on Thai Fight, and that was set for 72, and it's day before weigh-in. So my whole even my amateur career back home was 70 kg, 154 pounds. If I'm doing day before, get time to replenish and feel good for the fight on the next day. Nongo is huge. They're pumping that boy full of something. I don't fucking know, dude. Like I saw him in person for the first time and was like, calves the size of my thighs and just like this fucking trout. Just like this dude's a specimen. This dude's a straight up specimen. So, and when it came time to fight, with all the weight he put on, I remember grabbing him like our first exchange where we tied up. I'm feeling him. I'm like, this motherfucker's dense, dude. And he hit me the hardest I've ever been hit. Put me on the canvas in the second round with a punch that I didn't even see coming. I don't even remember. I remember coming to, and I'm on my feet, and the referee's at 7 out of the 8 count, and it was like, if I've lost, that's for certain. But as long as I just don't get stretchered out of here, if I don't get knocked out and they don't have to carry me out, like, okay, come back and do it again. So fighting at a weight that was higher than my normal fighting weight, even when I was fighting amateur, was, it was a test. And I'm happy for all the lessons I learned in that fight. And, he's a great guy, Nongo. He's a really humble champion. So we talked about what the best weight for me to be, and I think 69 is doable for me out here. At least my walking weight and has gotten a little lower, and I feel good. So we'll try 69, see what happens.
You've fought at 69 back home before. Actually, from what I recall, you've cut far below that as well. And there's
I fought 67 twice, which was crazy. The whole weight cutting experience for that was undesirable, to say the least. I was very close to being like, I gotta go to the hospital. I can't fucking do this.
So when we went to Isan together at the airport, he told me a story, which is you had cut down to 67 or 140 something.
147, 67 kg. Yeah.
You made the weights, you show up at the venue, but because of some storm, they delayed.
That was a 70. That was a 154 pound fight. Yeah, so that wasn't 147, 67 kg, but it was cut the weight, and then they pushed the weigh-ins back to the day of the fight, the morning of the fight. The whole athletic commission wanted to cancel the event entirely, but the promoter was able to convince them that, okay, we'll just push the weigh-ins to the morning of fight that night. So I was heavier. My walking around weight was heavier when I was back home. Probably cut around 15 pounds or so to get to 154 at the time. So I mean, it was shitty, like anticipating weighing in and being able to replenish and and then okay, you got to wait another, another half a day or whatever. But that's what it is. Lost that fight too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know your style of cutting weight, at least from when I used to live in Hua Hin, and we'd drive to Bangkok together with either June or Krupet. You'd never really do the sweatsuits and run around. You would just not eat.
Yeah, out here, yeah, cause with those they were like morning of, so it's just yeah, just wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink water for like a day or two, and then throw it all back on. But back home and with my most recent fights that have been day before weigh-ins, yeah, I put that sweatsuit on, but I don't really do the water load anymore. Like back home, dude, from when I was fighting amateur, it's like a 5-day process of 2 gallons the first day, completely eliminating sodium, limiting carbs to just like carnivorous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower and stuff, 50 grams, and that's it. That's all you get for the day. Like no starch, no sugar, nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, eating a lot of eggs and fucking chicken and boiled chicken and shit.
Yeah, for the
Sweating.
for the exhibition fights, I ended up having to cut a little bit of weight as well. I think it was 10 pounds, but I would do it all at once. I'd just go into the sauna and
Yeah, one session.
get
it over with.
and I would be able to do 10 pounds, which is, I think it's quite a lot. That's almost 4 kilos.
Yeah, I mean, 10 pounds, a gallon of water is what, 8.3-4 pounds. So it's more than a gallon of water. Yeah. Here it's like with this last fight at Pechpancha, 'cause it's morning of. All my fights at Pechpancha, just I normally throw the sauna suit on, hit the jump rope, 30 minutes before the official weigh-ins in the morning, and okay, get to weight. This most recent one, the evening before, they wanted me to check my weight, so I got on the scale, and I was like almost 2.5 kilos over fight weight. And I told him, it's like, it's good. Like tomorrow morning, like I'm gonna be good. I'm just not gonna eat, drink tonight. Probably lose 0.5 kilo just in my sleep, and then I'll sweat it out in the morning. They're like, well, we're already here at the gym. Just put the sweatsuit on, jump rope a little bit. Put the sweatsuit on, jumped rope for maybe 10 minutes. Was on weight, So it's like, okay, I get to eat a little bit, but I just like went down, go back up. It's all good.
Yeah, Thai style weight cuts.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah. So with you are over the course of this past year, you've had 9 fights.
Yes.
You are currently living in Chiang Mai. And what's the name of your gym you're training out of?
We're a Pat Gym.
We're a Pat Gym. So with them, how many fights have you had?
5. 5 in total, yeah.
Okay, so tell us like about the fight scene in Chiang Mai and what your goals are to get to competing in, let's say, Bangkok or other areas of Thailand with a higher level promotion or level competition. What is your trajectory?
Yeah. The fight scene in Chiang Mai is quite vast because I don't know how many stadiums you have, maybe 10. You have stadiums like Kilair Night Bazaar, which is the Fairtex Stadium, where you have some very skilled fighters. Then you also have stadiums like Loy Crow, which I have fought in, and there's a lot of bullshit fights there. Yeah, there's a lot of fake fights and dives. And what the fuck am I trying to say right now? What was your question? My trajectory.
Your trajectory, the fights that you have had,
Right.
and how much more, I guess, you were hoping to do in Chiang Mai, and then what you would like to see for yourself,
So-
what you've accomplished that.
Yes. So maybe I'll tell you what those fights are made up of and then what's next for me as well.
Okay.
I've done 2 fights at Night Bazaar, and those were some more challenging fights. First one was a draw against a very experienced Thai, Sangpet. And everybody's fought this dude.
Yeah.
Everybody at my weight has fought this dude. That's kind of the thing with Chiang Mai is you have 4 or 5 people at
So a revolve outdoor. Yeah.
and they just fight everybody. And I drew with him. Then I fought a foreigner, an American, and it was arguably one of my worst performances because I think I just was in a bad, headspace mentally, and I psyched myself out a little bit. I don't like to give excuses, but I was also a bit sick.
The reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so after that, I fought in Loy Crow twice. The first guy, he was basically just a spar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit hard, but he took a dive. And then the fight after that was my first ever real knockout, I would consider. Which is great. And for the first time where I didn't actually try to go for the knockout, I ended up getting.
Funny how that works, huh?
Exactly. And then my most recent fight was a festival fight in Prao. And that was against an ex-Max Muay Thai champion. So a very game opponent.
Yes.
And I lost that fight on points. My corner told me that he was going to be crazy, that he was going to try to knock me out in the first round. So at our gym, we're very casual. We don't call them crew. Pat or whatever. Pat's the owner of the gym.
Okay.
Told me, like, go hard in the first and the second, take the third to recover if the fight hasn't ended by then already, and then the fourth and the fifth you pick it back up again.
Okay.
So that's what I did, but unfortunately by the third round I was completely gassed out, and he just scored a lot of kicks.
And I guess he had the experience to weather the first couple rounds and then pick up his momentum, seeing that you had started to fade a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's there's a lot of patterns. I don't want to talk about the specific technical patterns that I'm recognizing on a fucking podcast where we're putting this out in the public, right? These are just technical details, but the patterns are there, and it's very clear what it is that I need to be working on, and that's what makes the game so exciting is continuous learning, and it's very obvious what it is that I need to be doing.
Yeah. Recognizing and then coming up with an approach to, see where the faults are, see what's working and see what's not working, and, get a game plan together where you can implement your strengths and try and, take away the opportunities for them to capitalize on your, not so stronger points.
Yeah. Let's talk about when we both were training together at Mr. Nog.
Yeah.
We've
We
been-
we arrived in Thailand, I think I came in the first week of December 2024, and you came in January?
Yep.
Okay, so I've been there for just a few weeks, and they had opened up in October.
Yes.
So from October to December when I arrived, and you came in, so we were there practically when it opened.
Exactly. Let's maybe talk about like some of the biggest wins that we've experienced together, and maybe some of the biggest setbacks that we've both experienced together during that 8 or 9 month period of us training there.
Okay. Yeah. Let me think back. So my first fight was at Soy 102. Hua Hin Stadium against Dan Tai. So that was my first fight here in Thailand, and got the second round TKO. And your first fight was
Ansa
Anza
against the really fat guy.
against the he yeah he dives quite a bit, huh?
That's all he does. That's all he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really, like, that's the weird thing about these fights is dives can be great because it's you actually get in the ring, there's real anticipation, and you're sparring without shin pads, right? So there's a lot to be learned. But with that guy, he doesn't even spar you at all.
I mean, his Y crew was longer than the fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really disappointing. I remember at the time, after the fight ended, I was a bit upset. And looking back at it, that's something that's not in my control at
No.
all, and there's no reason for me to be upset about
It's not on you. Yeah, I mean, Crew June set up the fight. You said yes to the fight, and you went in and did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So after that, went back to training, and then, I mean, us training together at Mr. Knock was some of the best training just in general that I've ever experienced. Like having you, because at the time we were more or less the same weight. And we had Coupette pretty much so it was like the three of us were able to get really good sparring, clinching rounds together, really dive into a lot of technique, and have have each other to learn from, in the sense of, okay, do it to me so that he can watch us. Okay, now you two do the technique so that I can see it from this this perspective. It can be hard to fully wrap your head around the technique when you're the one getting the technique done to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and he's Crew Pet was always very patient, and I think he cared a lot about leveling us up, both of us.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was very, very invested. I think in you especially, saw a lot of potential, and he kind of took you under his wing right off the bat.
Yeah, it's good. It feels good getting sort of scooped up by a trainer, and someone that you trust, obviously. And I had watched some of his fights, like on online, and even just training with him, sparring with him, hearing him talk about his preferred techniques. It's like, this is somebody that I would love to be able to emulate.
Well, he loves to elbow. He's a Muay sox.
So, yeah. Okay, so your question, we were going to talk about some of the, remind me again, the better things and the worst things that we had.
Yeah, like, what would you say is the biggest win that you had while we were both at Mr. Nog?
The biggest win, not necessarily a victory in a fight, but just an accomplishment, a win.
Yes. It can be anything. It doesn't just have to be, within the fight.
Yeah. Well, I think fighting at Rajadamnern, for me, was a very impactful experience, a moment, being able to go to that stadium, and it was on Rajadamnern Knockout, which, again, entry-level promotion within the stadium. It's not RWS. But for me, just being there, taking that walk through the tunnel, and going over the ropes and performing in front of that many people, and performing relatively well. You know, getting the victory is always nice, but actually performing well, on that stage was probably biggest win for me at Mr. Knock. And being able to do it twice, was really something else.
Yeah.
What about you?
That I actually looking back at it, I'm like, all I did was lose at Mr. Knock. Like my fight record is 4 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw.
Okay.
I just keep losing fights, which is fine. It's not about the record for me. For me, it's about what it is that I learn about myself and how I improve myself as a person, not just as a fighter.
Yes.
That's the reason why I fight. So it's hard for me to pinpoint one specific win. The experience overall has been fucking phenomenal. For me to have the chance to do this and to keep trying and to keep pushing through despite the failures. I guess what we could call a win, even though for the fight it was a loss, and there's a lot of things that in the fight itself that were not good, would be my fight at the school.
Yeah.
The kids' school.
Yeah.
So this was
It was a cool experience.
It was an amazing experience. And this was it was my comeback fight after my KO loss.
Yes.
So I'd broken my hand for the first time and lost by KO. And because of that, I took, an extended time off of training. I tried to focus a little bit more on my business, Fighters Abuse Addiction at that time. And the first fight back, I didn't take enough time to heal my hand, so I ended up breaking it again in the process. And the reason why I would classify it as a win is because a lot of fucking self-doubts and negative self-talk that happened that I went through when I lost by KO. Started questioning a lot of things about myself, if I'm cut out to do this. And rather than spiraling with that, the answer is very clear to me when I look at the situation. Of course I want to keep fucking doing this. It doesn't matter if I get knocked out again. I'd rather get knocked out again than to just give up on this life that I'm living, which is my dream life, The cons is that I took a lot of doubt with me in that fight, and I hesitated a lot. And again, it's a failure, but failure at the end of the day is just data. It's something I can analyze, something I can choose to work on and get better at, in the next fight. And there's no urgency. I guess a mistake I used to make all the time is I would put a lot of pressure and urgency on how I need to perform. What's the fucking point of doing that? I'll learn when I learn.
Yep.
I don't need to add an extra layer of pressure, an extra layer of stress when this is already difficult enough as is.
Very true. I mean, not many people find the courage within themselves to actually pursue their dream, So that in and of itself is a victory. It's a personal victory to make that decision for yourself, and regardless of failure, fail. But it's not defeat. Until you quit, that's the moment of defeat, is when you quit and you give up on it. Like you said, it's data, and whether it's in the ring or you've had moments with business where it didn't quite play out the way you had hoped. I mean, it's all data that you can analyze and plan for the next time around.
It's funny because if you look back at my last year and a half in Thailand, it's just a portfolio of failures, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
And even emotionally, I look at it and I'm quite proud, even though it's just a bunch of losses and a bunch of failed attempts at making my online business work. I know I'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, I know I'll make it work. And it's the same with the Muay Thai. I know I'm going to overcome the bottlenecks that I'm facing right now. It's just a matter of removing the urgency and trusting that it's gonna fucking happen for me.
Yeah. This weird sense of I understand what you mean about the urgency. It's like, okay, in time it'll come, and I'll allow it to be a natural process and not try and force it too much. And I agree with that. Like, it has to be in due course. It'll all come together. At the same time, like, when opportunities present themselves, it behoove you to oftentimes say yes, because they might not come again, and time goes by faster than you often think. So, time, at least for me, at this level, wanting to do it at this level, time is of the essence, because I'm 31 now, a couple months away from 32. So the reality is, I'm not going to be like Sanchai, being 42 years old or whatever, at the top. I know a couple people. Joseph Sanderson comes to mind, where, yeah, he's still at it. And I wonder, with how much more damage, gets taken or what, how many years left. But, yeah, for me, I don't stress about, all right, I do my best not to stress about how this technique isn't coming as quickly as I had hoped, or I've been practicing this technique for weeks, for months now, and it just doesn't quite feel as natural as I feel it ought to be. But at the same time, it's okay. Get in there, you do it, when it happens, it happens. But yeah, just saying yes to the opportunities as they come, because yeah, won't be able to do it for much longer in the grand scheme of things.
So what's what's your why as to why you fight?
And I love fighting. Yeah, I mean, I love fighting. But why I'm doing all of this, like you've mentioned, it's one of the purest forms of self-discovery. You learn a lot about yourself when, not only when you get in the ring, but you choose to day in and day out put yourself through the training and have the discipline to do what is required of you to get in there and fight. But I guess my ultimate why is just I love fighting, and I wish to test myself against the best people I can have the opportunity to fight against. So win, lose, it's whatever. But yeah,
Why
I want to test my mettle.
why do you think you love fighting? What is it about perhaps the life events that you went through maybe when you were younger that made you love fighting today?
Well, I think fighting is like the purest form of competition. It's normally what it comes down to. Like, yeah, but I could beat you in a fight. It's like it's not like, yeah, well, I could beat you in a ping pong game, or like, oh, I could, it's like, so it's yeah, it's testing everything that I am against everything that you are, and see who comes out on top. But I guess, yeah, being younger, having a lot of anger, having a lot of emotions that I didn't know how to properly process and deal with. Like, fighting for me was a means of expression and release for a lot of negative emotions. I mean, so early on, that was probably a big part of it. You know, getting drunk and shit doesn't help. You know, getting all fucked up and yeah,
So
rowdy.
you're from Annapolis, Maryland.
Mm.
What was it like growing up there, and perhaps how does that tie into fighting in general?
No, well, Annapolis is not like a, you know, that- just like anywhere. I guess you can find areas that are um a little rough around the edges, but as a whole, Annapolis is not like a hard place, you know. But I grew up, uh, spent my teenage years, I guess, mainly hanging around with people who were just like-minded. I think like to party, and I think out of I think out of most of my friends, I was definitely the one who had more of a penchant for violence. You know, it's like I was always looking to fight. You know, always looking to fight. Um, but doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing, I guess. You know, not going to school and fucking drinking and doing shit in the woods that should have been in class. It's like, you know, um, going to parties and yeah, I think and then okay, get a little older now. I can go to the bars. You know, and Annapolis is a big drinking town, downtown Annapolis. Really small, but yeah. I mean, once I was able to go to the bars and whatnot, I still had a lot of unprocessed trauma and negative feelings towards a lot of things that I let going out and drinking and fighting be the means of like working through all that. You know, so I was definitely a liability to all of my friends. You know, it's like if we were going out, it's like, all right, well, Joseph might do something fucking, so I fucking do let's do something tonight. But so when I yeah, I think for me, drinking was one of the better things I could have ever done for myself. Um, hard to no longer have a vice to smother all of the emotions, and had to work through them accordingly. But yeah, I'm in control now. I used to have a big problem with getting out of control. Yeah, so
You used to be that guy at the party who, if someone were to bump into you,
that's slap you in your face and hope that you swung on me. Yeah.
so I remember when we were in, when we went to Isan, when we were training at Lam Namun, we eat ice cream basically every day.
Swenson's.
Swenson's, yeah, Swenson's. And we're talking about how whether or not street fights had an impact on your skill level as a Muay Thai fighter here today. And you said no, which I thought was a very interesting answer, and perhaps I even disagree. You said it normalized violence, but it didn't help you in terms of skill as a fighter.
Yeah. I think for me that's true. Like fighting in the street, you know, or wherever. It I didn't hone my skills, you know, and that it was just yeah, it grew me. It allowed me to be more comfortable in those situations. I mean, I sought out those situations. And I didn't care about getting hurt. and you didn't care about hurting anyone. So it removed the, the fear of like personal injury, or, the fear of, even in the moment of like consequence and all of that. It was, it was just, I didn't care. I didn't care. So I think having fought whatever, when I finally started doing Muay Thai, I wasn't scared of getting punched in the face, wasn't scared of being hurt. I already had it happen, you know. So something I was comfortable with, and it's something I just enjoy, which I think is very different. Your background is very different. Your transition into a combat sport, did not stem from your desire and your love for violence or fighting. So how did you decide that Muay Thai or fighting was gonna be like your thing?
For me, Muay Thai and the first fight I ever did, even though I lost by TKO and he elbowed and kneed the shit out of me and I couldn't continue, it taught me that I actually can
Yeah.
inflict. I actually have the power to fight back. I actually have the ability to do the shit that is scary and that is when the odds are stacked against me. I have the, the guts to actually do it. And I guess it's a big contrast to how I lived the majority of my life. Simply accepting my role as somebody that can be used for the benefit of others.
Yeah.
And perhaps this ties to family dynamics that I had. Where people who were meant to care for you just cared about themselves and used you. So feeling powerless, fighting allowed me to regain power that I feel like I didn't have for the majority of my life.
Yeah. You were in control, like in the moment, in that, whether it's in the 9 minutes for the 3 rounds or the 15 minutes of the 5, like you are in control, and you have, you are the force to be reckoned with if you choose to be.
Like you say, it's the purest form of competition, but it's also one of the purest moments, period.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fake it. You can't fake a fight.
No, you can fake many things, but you will be exposed. Yeah. If you go over the ropes and if you've played it up and said that you're something you're not, you will be exposed. Yeah, it's truth. There's only truth in there. Only truth shows. And definitely who you actually are comes out. It gets hard, and in those difficult moments, who are you?
I think that's what's beautiful about it. As I say, it's one of the greatest forms of self-discovery. Because what you know about yourself and the way you perceive yourself is not the same as, you go and do your first fight and you see how you're reacting to pain and stress. You'll leave that ring and your perception of yourself is now different.
Yeah, especially when really, I mean, you had scraps growing up, or you got in a couple altercations, I'm sure. Maybe not to the point of beating the shit out of each other, but the elevated heart rate, the sense of, the fight or flight, the adrenaline, all of that. I've experienced that before.
Yes,
And
but
nothing quite like, the fight.
never a real fight. Just some two punches being thrown back and forth,
Yeah.
shoving, and not no real fight.
Yeah. So you have an idea of how you'll react in the ring. And of course you play it in your head of like what you're gonna do, and okay, he's gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and this is kind of what I want to do. And oftentimes, I mean, shit goes out the window really quick, but you learn you learn a lot about yourself in terms of what you're willing to do and how much you're willing to put forth to overcome, not just for the victory, but to prove that you can be contested with it. I want to go back and talk about, so with you, we talked about your experiences that you've had in Chiang Mai. Where do you see yourself going from there, or what is left for you? What more do you want to accomplish in Chiang Mai until you make that next step for yourself in your career?
The stepping stone between something like a Raja KO and Clare Stadium would be my first checkaweight fight, my first televised fight, which Pat told me about. I don't know what city it's in. It's a 1 hour drive from Chiang Mai, but that would be what's next on the agenda for me.
Okay.
Is to do my first ever televised fight.
Yep. And are there specific things that you are looking for out of, let's say, your next performances that you yourself can see and say, now I'm ready to make this step? Or is it something you're trusting more your coaches to recognize and tell you, okay, now you're ready for this next step? Both, maybe? Yeah. What do you want to see from yourself that will give you the, not necessarily confidence, but the desire for the next step?
That's a really good question. I almost want to say more wins. Since I've had so few. I mean, 4 is...
It's 4 wins, man. It's 4 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have... Most people don't ever do the thing once.
Yeah.
So...
For sure, but... And I appreciate that a lot, by the way, but the way I see it is, I don't want to compare myself to the person that's never done this before. I want to compare myself to who is 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead of me already.
Yeah.
Because for me to compare myself to a much higher level fighter doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't do you any good, man.
No. I want to look at the guys that are 2 steps ahead of me. What have they done? What are they dealing with? No. Raphael comes to mind, who is one of the fighters that's where Pat's. He actually used to live in Hue, and he was sponsored at Elite.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he moved over to Chiang Mai. He had a lot of challenging moments. I'm not here to talk about somebody else's story, but I know that I've experienced a lot of challenges in my fight career, as has he, but he has a lot more experience, and it's interesting to witness his comeback, and then after the comeback, seeing everything else that he goes through, whether it's more wins or more losses. I can relate a lot to him, even though he's more experienced than me.
Yeah. Are there again, not to like pry on any sort of like personal conversations that you have had with him or his experiences, but are there things that you guys have talked about or things that he's expressed to you that um, that have given you a little clearer insight into what you need to do to get to your next level, to the next step?
No, because we don't really talk like that.
Yeah.
I've just witnessed.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I've witnessed how he reacts after a win and after a loss, and I mean, he's been fighting as frequently as I have been, almost once a month, so if not more. And it's interesting. I almost wonder if the way I react after a win or a loss isn't influenced by him because I look up to him in a certain capacity. I find it interesting how we do this sport for ourselves, but sometimes we carry this guilt almost as if we're in debt towards our teachers.
Yeah.
And then we apologize for losing.
Yes.
Even though, what are we apologizing for? We did this for us.
Yeah. It's a very selfish sport. I mean, as you know, like, if you care enough to go forward with it, you will end up sacrificing something. Yes. But it's interesting, like what you just said with you tend to apologize to your trainers. You know, it's funny, like even with this last fight, I won the fight, but one of my worst performances in my opinion. Just because again, I had a lot of personal things going on, trying to compartmentalize some things so I can focus on the fight and allowing other thoughts to creep in, which were distracting me, but still training hard and doing everything I knew I needed to do and being ready and having confidence, but just not fighting how I normally fight. And it was apparent to not only my coach, but to the promoter and everyone. It was, it was a topic of discussion. I later found out that, it was my fourth time being invited back to that stadium, specifically because of my performances. And I didn't perform how I usually perform. And that was something that I was apologizing for to my coach. That, yeah, I won the fight, but I'm so sorry that I didn't fight how I know I can fight and how I normally do. So it's weird, yeah. You do it for yourself, but you feel a need to apologize because as much as you and I invest in ourselves, into our craft, and the trainer's right there with you the whole time, and he is investing just as much, if not more on some occasions.
It's counterintuitive though, because guilt is, I guess you could say, a form of negative energy.
Right.
So yeah, you don't want to disappoint the people who've invested their energy into you, but at the same time, you reacting with guilt doesn't help you nor help him.
No, it has to be a very short-lived thing. It's okay to say sorry or express, some, apologetic for what happened, but okay, we're moving past that now. Look forward to the next one, train for the next one, do everything we can to prepare and be ready for the next one. Yeah, what's done is done. We have the lessons, but can't go back and change it. So
Pat often says, if you're not happy, you're stupid. Which it's true. Like, if you're not enjoying the whole process, regardless of how painful it is,
right?
What the fuck is the point?
Right. Yeah, it's do it because you love it. Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, we get the chance to do this. It's not, nobody's forcing us to do this. We're lucky enough.
Privilege.
Extremely privileged to do it.
It's a privilege to be able to do it all. And I think maybe some people, it's easy to lose sight of that. It's easy to think about it as something you have to do, not something you get to do.
I think it ties back to that guilt complex. Because once, your coach offers you a fight, and then you feel the need to have to accept and to have to take it on.
Right.
It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. And we were talking about earlier, it can be different for some people. If you're a sponsored fighter and you're presented with a fight, sometimes you don't have a lot of room to negotiate because, okay, you have been given these privileges with the understanding that when it's time to perform, you go and perform.
So you're a sponsored fighter, Jalpahin.
Yeah, I do not pay a monthly membership at Jalpahin. I am a sponsored fighter, and I guess that entails that they only get paid when I get paid from a fight, and a percentage of that pay goes to them. So, yeah, like I expressed with this most recent one, everybody always has personal things going on. I had some more, nothing unique, but things that were happening that distracted me quite a bit from the fight that I had committed myself to. But it's not in a position to just say, no, I'm not going to do this, or no, I'm not feeling it. It's like, no, you get up and you go to work. It's my job. At this point, it is my job. So I go and do my job. So not only so that I can get paid, so that they can, get paid, but it's very important for me that I represent Jalpahin, Kogan Dojo, everybody who has invested so much into me. I want to do the best that I possibly can to show all of them and to show everyone that, it wasn't all for naught. Whatever you're putting in for me, all the support, all the love, everything, like, means everything. And I want to do my very best to make everyone proud. So that's it. Yeah.
I again, I don't mean to keep pleasing you, bro, but I think you're the future of American Muay Thai. That's what I think.
Thank you. I hope to be one of the many talented guys coming out of the States. But
the U.S. has never been known as a country that is good in Muay Thai.
No.
You got the UK, Australia.
Yeah.
Never the U.S., but the U.S. is now coming up.
Yeah.
And I think your head tailing, is that even a fucking word?
I'm trying. I'm doing everything I can to. It just goes back to accepting opportunities. I mean, when an opportunity presented, I want to jump on it. I want to put myself out there, and I want to test myself against whoever it is they put up against me. I'm, with USA Muay Thai, like my coach Matt from back home, and Kogan Dojo. He's done so much for Muay Thai in Maryland, getting it legalized, not only amateur fighting, but now professional fighting, and is so active with the WBC and all of that, has played such a big, I think, part in growing the sport in our area, in Maryland, the DMV area. But the USA WBC, they'll be coming here, I think in June, I believe, is the Amazing Muay Thai Festival in Bangkok. I've had the privilege of, on 2 separate occasions, being with the American team for the WBC events, tournaments. And there's a lot of talented a lot of talented people, men and women, coming out of the United States, who always put on really exciting fights. And you'll catch them, every now and then. Like you said, England, the UK, and, Europeans, I think, have had a little bit more time to establish themselves in the higher level promotions and stadiums. But you see Americans here and there.
Hey, bro, we've been going at it an hour and a half.
Went by quick, huh?
No.
How you feeling?
Pretty good, bro. You want to keep it running or you want to cut it?
It's up to you. Is there anything?
I think
I would say,
I think we can keep it running, but
all right.
yeah, this has been dope, bro. I didn't think we'd get right into it like that. I think we would have been fucking.
I thought we were going to be a little more scattered, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Still a bit scattered, but I think we are doing a decent job of reeling it back in.
Yeah.
What's at the forefront of your mind at the moment?
Man, I want to talk about some of the fucking cool shit that we went through. Like, here's what's at the forefront of my mind, man. I'm just gonna lay it all out there, and then we can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Awesome.
When you hurt your elbow before your first ever Razanamnurin fight,
Yeah.
and you weren't sure whether or not you were going to do it, but then you move forward with it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to filter myself for all these things, all right? Cool, bro.
I don't expect you to.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
And then the conflicts that were associated with that at the gym.
Yeah.
Going to Isan, even though you didn't have permission, but you weren't really a sponsored fighter.
Yeah. It's getting a. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Me losing by KO at Ansa, and similar to your fight against Nong O, where you came back to consciousness and he said 7. The same, same thing happened to me, but then he fucking waved it off. And then me being upset about that. That's on top of my mind right now. What else? Lamna Moon offering us fights in Isan, even though you weren't supposed to be out there. And me still being kind of concussed and still having a broken hand, thinking like, oh, I have to do this again. Going back to the guilt complex.
Yeah.
Thinking we have to accept these fights. Then having a bit of an awkward moment there at least for me, I felt really conflicted and scattered in that moment. I thought I had to accept the fights, but at the same time, I was kind of looking up to you, thinking like, bro, like, do you decide for us?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was, which was a mistake looking back at it.
Well,
Like, well, not a mistake, but like, that's not your responsibility. But I guess because of, I think the concussion played a role, man. The concussion lasted longer than just like a month or two, and even psychologically, I lost a lot of confidence in myself in all areas of life after that knockout. So I didn't know what to do when they were offering us fights, because I kept telling them, yeah, bro, but I broke my hand a month ago. It's not healed. I'm not even punching pads with it.
Yeah. Then you got Crew Dang, who's like, broke his leg and, like, I guess went on to fight multiple times after that without ever having it properly healed. So it wasn't, it's like.
You know what else is insane is they were saying, like, it's okay, don't punch, just elbow.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, that's not gonna, your instincts kick in. But I remember looking at them and being like, okay, I'll just elbow. I won't punch. That can work, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy and perhaps even a bit dangerous when you give a lot of power to somebody. When you allow somebody to influence you because they have achieved the things that you want to achieve.
Yeah. And I mean, so real quick, just on that, it's like a Muay Thai gym. The gym is a business. The business gets paid from fighting. It's one of the means of income for the business. So if they can get you to fight, not only are you making a little bit of money, but they're making money.
Exactly.
You know, and it opens more opportunities for them further down the road as well. Yeah. So regardless of if it's in the fighter's best interest, you know, it's good for the business.
I guess.
Yeah. So first, let's talk about.
There's one more thing I want to add because I think, we'll cut it right before like the second hour ends. So I don't know if you can see the time right there. 1:34 is when we're at. Yeah. So let's fucking run all that and then right enter the second hour. We'll cut it. So, the last thing that I want to talk about is, and we can or cannot talk about it. It's up to you. But the other thing that's on my mind is unrealized potential when it comes to your online business.
Yeah.
And then perhaps even my online business.
Okay.
And, you know, we live in Thailand and we're not going to just get fucking regular jobs here, right? You have an incredible talent. I have my skill set. There's a way to pass that on to people who want to learn from you, right? So that's the other thing. And then you living at the gym,
Okay,
all the mosquito hits.
Okay, so which one first? Out of all of that, I want to talk about your ANZA experience because I think that was such a course changing event. Like it changed your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so okay, you were offered a fight at ANZA, local stadium here in Hua Hin, against another foreigner from Pet Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Training for that fight. I don't remember specifically what was the game plan going in, or what were they telling you they wanted to see from you in that fight?
Training for it, they didn't tell me anything, and I actually went in there quite confident.
Yeah.
Of course, I was, you know, had nerves, but I went in there and I saw the kid's face.
Yeah.
And just by looking at his face, I was like, I'm gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had such an I mean, obviously there's no way to know, but he had a very extensive background in Western boxing.
Yeah, he had good hands.
No.
He had good hands. But that's all he had.
That's all.
Yeah. That's all he had. He was a one-trick pony, but he did do what he did well.
It's pretty crazy because in the first round, so I lost by KO in the 5th round, right? Technically, I came back to college, ran in the reps at 7, and I wasn't even facing him, and that's all I remember, right? But actually, in the first round, I don't know, did I get knocked out? I don't know. I don't remember this fight, right? But in the first round, he hit me with a shot that made me blind.
Yeah.
Where I could still see him, but he was going.
Yep.
That was my vision, and then I managed to hit him with a head kick and give him an 8 count.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't see and I was blind. I go back to the corner, and there you are, putting ice water on me.
You're pissed about the ice.
I was so pissed, and I was, I can't see.
Yeah.
What did I hit him with?
Head kick.
Yeah.
Head kick. Like trying to tug your hair, put the ice water. I mean, it can be so chaotic because you got Crew Pet yelling at you, you got Crew June yelling at you, you know, you got multiple people.
My mom was there
screaming at, you know, different things. Onions in the at ringside with us,
which is super sick.
But I sensed in you that like after that first round, I knew that you needed like a moment of just calm to like to recalibrate and to get back into the fight, you know, because I knew you were a little out of it, sitting on that stool. So I was trying to give you the space and the opportunity to like get centered again to go back into that second round. But I mean, it just got crazy, ran crazy. You know, it was a war, man. Like that fight was that was a fight in the night, worthy performance from both of y'all. Back and forth action, dude. Like the whole fight. And you were throwing elbows, but it was just the distance management was just not in your favor. You know, he was doing a good job of using his boxing. You were kicking him and having most of your success on the outside. And then I think everyone had felt that you had done enough through the 4 rounds that you had won the fight. So talk about going into the 5th round.
Okay, so I actually cannot because I don't even remember any rounds. Okay, but what I do remember is knowing that I was ahead on points. I mean, at least thinking that
Yeah,
I was ahead on
we
points.
all were under the same impression. Yeah,
And Greed took over in the 5th round.
and it was from the leg kicks.
Yeah,
You really started targeting the legs in the 5th round. All the other ones were body and head.
Yeah.
So you had done a good job of changing the levels and caught him by surprise with the low kicks and had him hurt.
and his body language is very apparent that he
Yeah.
was very hurt. And I went from, even though I was, mentally I was pretty fucked up from taking all these shots to the head. I went from I'm there to completely narrowing my vision.
Yep.
And not even recognizing that I was in a fight.
Yeah.
I didn't see him as a threat anymore. I just saw him
Almost as like one of the coaches holding a kick shield. So you just wanted to kick the leg. Yeah. Like
I went into reptilian mode. And that was the biggest mistake, is I stopped seeing him as a threat as soon as he was hurt. I thought I had him.
Yeah.
And
a hurt animal is a dangerous animal.
And you've said this many times and I'll never forget it. And he didn't this is what's crazy, is his punches were really strong.
Yeah.
But the one that he finished me with was not even a hard punch.
No, it's just the one you didn't see coming.
Exactly. He didn't even put his body into it. He almost just jabbed me with his arm, not even using his body. And yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't expect it at all.
You went down. I knew you were going to get up. Like I knew you were out of it, but I was confident that you were going to make it back to your feet before the count. But as soon as you stood up facing the audience and not the referee, and he waved it off, I was gutted for you because I knew that you were about to win that fight. But I was happy that the referee made that decision because I didn't want him to let it go, and now you're in the position where he's just going to come and just start blasting you with punches. And I wasn't confident seeing you stand back up and not quite there. I didn't want to see you get any more hurt than you were.
See, that's what's my perspective on that has changed, because I agree with you today. But in that moment, I was in a lot of pain to have seen the referee wave it off, because I almost had it.
Yeah.
I was inches away from victory.
Yeah. Some of the bigger lessons I think you've ever had from that one.
There's a lot of thinking and reflection on that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, rebuilding a lot of confidence that I lost after having experienced that.
Yeah. I mean, you broke your hand. You were dealing with concussion symptoms for almost 2 months.
Yeah. I mean, in the first week, I couldn't walk for longer than 15 minutes without
vertigo and
without dizziness, and then I would need to nap for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't function for the first week. Lessons learned, man. I'm extremely grateful for that fight.
Yeah.
I take away nothing but great lessons from it, and Respect to my opponent, man. I mean,
You might need to rematch him somewhere down the road.
I think it's possible that I rematch him, perhaps in Raja.
Yeah,
He's been fighting in Raja, so
yeah. That's something I'm definitely gonna come out for. Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to talk about all those other things.
The most important one is probably the potential, or both of our potential.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
think we need to talk about dumb shit.
Okay. Not bad for bringing it up.
No. If we had time, I'd be willing to talk about it. But because we have to choose between.
Okay, here's what I think. I think you're sitting on a gold mine. I think I'm sitting on a gold mine. But perhaps we're both too retarded to be able to just like dig a couple inches and access it.
Yeah. The thing is, you've been mining your gold.
Yeah,
And
I'm mining with a fucking spoon.
Yeah, it's better than me. I don't even have to like. I'm just looking at it, like admiring it from the surface. So,
I think we'll both get there. I've certainly been investing a lot of money into learning how to upgrade to a shovel.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I almost have a golden shovel at this point. I just need to keep digging because I only recently upgraded to a better tool.
Yeah.
It's actually not that hard, man. It's actually okay. No. Sorry. I take that back. It's extremely hard, but it's very simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just doing it. I mean, that's with mostly anything. It's actually just taking the time and putting forth the effort of doing a damn thing. You know, it's not about making it perfect, like you said. Even the more raw, uncut, unedited, unfiltered, whatever you want to call it, just getting the material out there to people is more important than worrying about how it's going to be perceived, or if I slipped up on this description, or if I'm not quite accurately portraying this the way I wanted or I intended. Just getting the material out there. And that's what I struggle with personally, is like just actually documenting my life, you know. Like when I say I'm fucking retarded, it's like I just am viewing shit through my own eyes and I just take it in for like that. You know, I'm not thinking about like, oh, I can document this and put it out there for everyone to maybe enjoy. If they enjoy it, great, but just to view, to see, to experience, you know, let them decide for themselves how much they want to take from it.
You'd be surprised, man. You know, I don't view myself the same way my audience views me, and I didn't know that until very recently.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just how human psychology works. You don't always know. But because I'm able to see you on the outside, I recognize that you have the gold mine. Through a bunch of inefficient work, I recognize that I've got a gold mine too, but that's different. But I'm telling you right now, man, like, your life is fucking sick, dude. Even
that I can agree with you on. I'm not under the illusion of anything else, you know. Yeah.
like it's
And with more recent changes, it's gotten a little more interesting.
yes,
For sure.
I think people want to know about it.
Yeah. So currently living at the gym at Jiaopa Inn. Kurtam and Pijub have been gracious enough to allow me to stay there. It's a little back room where they got, you know, a mat set down, a little mosquito net tent. I'm fucking hunkered down in there, man. I'm telling you. So, like everything I do as of late, is just associated to the gym in one way or another. You know, it's like, it's everything now. It's everything.
I think there's a lot of people that are going to look at that situation and think the level of dedication that he has towards what he is doing, towards the sport and fighting. It's incredibly inspiring. People want to learn from that.
Yeah.
I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity.
I hope that it is that, because for me, even saying it, it's like I don't want people to like, oh, he's sleeping, in a tent. It's like, no, I'm so grateful and I'm so happy to be doing it. Like I'm not living in a, like a woe is me sort of state of existence right now. It's like I'm so happy to be there and to even just have the tent and the bed to the mat to sleep on, and to have the opportunity to wake up and be at the gym, and just I am surrounded by Muay Thai, and it is what I love. And yeah, so I don't want people to be like, oh, the poor guy. It's like, it's not through lack of options that, it's like, oh, I can't find an apartment, so I got to sleep at the gym. It's like, no, I'm choosing to sleep at the gym.
And I think people will think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, yeah. Yeah, things change, and that's okay. I'm happy. I'm happy with the changes. I'm happy with the changes now. Yeah, it's good. It's going to it's allowed me an opportunity to be reminded of just how bad I want and have always wanted this. Like I came here with the desire to do Muay Thai to whatever extent that's possible for me. However far I can take it, that's where I want to go. I don't really have like a specific anymore, like, oh, I want to be here. However far I can take it, that's what I want to do. And this is allowing me even that much more of an opportunity to remind myself that, like, this is what you love and you're in a position to do it. So
it's funny, when I first met you, maybe within a week or two of meeting you, we went on a run together. And at the time you said your goal was to fight in RWS.
Yeah, I think I was like, by the end of the year, I want to fight on RWS. And I ended up fighting on Thai Fight instead, which some people might argue, it depends on who you ask, or, oh, it's not, but.
No, it's up there. Like, let's not kid ourselves. You fought Sayok, and again, in my opinion, I think you're going to eventually fight Sanchai and you're going to fucking win.
Thank you.
And I'm actually willing to fucking bet on you, because I know there's a ton of people that are going to want to bet on Sanchai. I'm 100% willing to bet on the other side, bro.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said, I give it every time, everything I have, give it everything I have. Need to be able to. So we had I haven't had a chance to bet on you in any of your fights.
Well, it's such a shame that at ANSA there was a ton of gambling going on.
Yeah.
Even at the school, a ton of gambling going on, but
just didn't have the in.
Well, we didn't know, but when I went to Bangkok, I ended up learning a little bit on how to gamble at Channel 7. With the hand signals, and yeah, so this is Sinung, blue corner. Sinung, blue corner, Sidang, red corner, Hasi 5-4, which means you're betting on the other underdog.
Okay.
If you call Hasi, you're betting on the underdog. Which means that you're betting 400. So if you lose, you give 400 to.
And if you win, you bet 5.
5. Yeah. And then there's the same thing with. I'm gonna butcher this one. I know Hasi for sure, but this one is maybe Sisam. No, Silom. I don't know. This is Silom, Jetsi. Yeah, I did a bit of research.
Yeah, man.
And the funny thing is, at Channel 7, they don't want to gamble with you because if you're a foreigner. if you don't speak Thai very well, they don't want to gamble with you because they think it's gonna create awkwardness if there's confusion, and then you have to pay up, but then you didn't really agree on so they don't want to bet with you. But what I learned is if you make it extremely clear on a piece of paper or written on your phone before the first fight, then you build credibility, and then they start gambling with you throughout the entire rest of the 4, 5, 6 fights. So it's not really
interesting to get into.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
so you got quite a little bit of experience now with making money, hopefully not losing too much,
I mean, I'm up on you. I bet on you. I bet on the OPEC fight.
Yeah.
I won 1,000 on that one. And then on the Nongo fight, I lost 500. So I'm up 500. Yeah.
All right.
But I'd like to start gambling on myself.
Yes.
Okay, what am I going to do with...
Why not?
Especially in Chiang Mai, they pay you so little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet on myself.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not relying on that check to eat, it's like, why not? Why not, man?
I think I almost wonder if, the opponent I fought at the school?
Yes.
I almost wonder if he had a ton of money on the fight, if he bet on himself. Because he had a lot of skin in the game. He clearly isn't actively training with the fucking gut that he had.
No.
But
experience.
But he wanted it.
Yeah.
He didn't.
From just the environment and seeing the crowd of gentlemen there gambling, I would assume that he put money on himself, or that he had people in his entourage that put money on him, and he was, because he was there to fight, dude. That's for sure. Like, he wasn't.
And that was the most money has ever been paid. It was 6,500 baht.
Nice.
Which is it's more than my fight in Prao and my fight in Prao.
When you think about like a primary school, like recess area fight, and where were we? Petcherbury? It's like,
Petcherbury,
yeah. Decent money, man. So if you put 6, well, I guess it's good you didn't put your whole purse on yourself on that one, but
now I know, before I didn't know. Now I know I can bet on myself, and I also, my relationship with money, specifically Thai baht, I used to look at it as, it's super cheap. I can just like spend it.
Yeah, it's
now I'm extremely cheap on how I spend my money, I
appreciate it a little more.
100%. I mean, like, I buy my eggs at 4 bahts per egg, and the store will be like 5 baht per egg. I'll be like, the fuck out of here. I'm not paying.
You're not buying all your eggs at 7-Eleven anymore, huh?
Oh, hell no. I didn't realize how much I was getting ripped off until I had to look at my finances and be like, it's I've been getting,
could be saving a little bit of money here.
Yes. All right, bro. I think we can wrap it up unless there's 2
not
more minutes worth of things we can talk about.
Anything closing? Yeah, no, we did a decent job.
I think we did a good job, especially. You thought this was my first podcast experience?
No, you've had one other experience, right? In a studio.
Which one?
Didn't you go to a studio in Bangkok where it was like just you? I remember seeing like a video of you in a studio, in like a podcast studio.
But I never published it.
Right, but you have done a podcast before.
I mean, it was just me by myself in a fucking room. This is my first podcast.
Same.
And I think it's good. I think in hour 2 we picked up the energy quite well.
Yeah.
Whereas in hour 1 we're a bit conservative, but no, we did fucking great, bro.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too, man.
I'm happy. This is a really cool fucking place.
Yeah, maybe we could do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Good to go. Yes.
Okay, Cup.
Well done, man. That was fucking cool.